Ladies and gentlemen, it's Rudy. Hope you're having a good night. Right now, I'm feeling pretty tired. It's the end of the day. I had a full work day. I had a full day, just kind of in general. But it was good though. For those of you who don't know, I work in ABA and I work with kids primarily, kind of in a center style thing. And so it's a lot of like fun and it's a lot of like just, you know, craziness and silliness. But I'm really starting to like it a lot more, and I'm starting to get better at it. So, you know, I'm having fun, but I'm just tired. It's been a long day. Um, I just need to rest. But tonight, I wanted to come back on. I wanted to talk a little bit about just my listening experience lately, just the journey, I suppose, getting back into physical media. So, for those of you who don't know, it started about, I want to say, maybe 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago. But I stumbled across a channel and a guy, his name is Spencer. His channel is Spencer's Adventures, if you want to check it out. But yeah, he's a film guy and he like works in cameras and stuff like that. He's kind of a neat guy, and he was just talking about his iPod, and I was just very curious because I hadn't really thought about it in a long time. But you know, I was just sort of interested in the idea, and I was like, well, I have all these old files, I think, and like, well, maybe just do something with this. And so it's been something that's been really fun for me, just to kind of tap back into music. Some of my experience messing around with Game Boys and stuff like that a couple years ago was really helpful in like opening up iPods and like just cleaning the boards and like putting the ribbons and stuff together. It was so in a way this kind of felt like, oh, I guess that was just like the training arc to this. So pretty chill, right? But I'm having a lot of fun just because for me, listening to music was always kind of like that release, and also that place where I can kind of just live. Like I don't know, sometimes it's hard for me to kind of exist in quiet. I get kind of sad, but like music and stuff like that just helps me kind of like breathe and kind of live and kind of exist in a certain space. But so I've been having a lot of fun, and really, actually, one of the best things about it is, with music and stuff, with physical music, there's kind of this aspect of it that's almost like collecting, which I really enjoy. For those of you who don't know, I'm really into like stuff like that. I grew up loving Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I still have a bunch of cards. I actually have like all the Metabots TCG foils, which is kind of cool. It's a little plug there. Metabots TCG. Let's bring that back. 2024 Metabots TCG. That'd be awesome. But yeah, it's been really fun. And one of my favorite things I've been finding is that there's like plenty of like gem CDs that you can get like that are really in good condition. Great CDs, stuff I've always wanted. And it's like really cheap. You know, One of my favorite finds recently was I found Young the Giant's like debut album, and it was like practically perfect, and it was like $7 at Book Off. That was really cool. And then you know, I recently picked up Slipknot's All Hope Is Gone, which I've been listening to, and honestly, it's a really great record. I have to really sit down one of these days and just listen to it from end to end. I love doing that with albums. Is if you have a chance, you should listen to them from end to end. Recently, I've done that for a few different albums, mostly re-listens, like stuff like David Bowie, Sgt. Pepper, but also new stuff like Weezer's Pinkerton. I re- I listened to that end to end like 5 times because it's so short. But it's a great way to kind of just get this more holistic view of a thing. Like some of these songs, like these singles, they're really cool, but listening to them in the context of an album gives you a greater sense of like, okay, well, what was the like of an artistic narrative or kind of like a cohesive part in a bigger thing, and this bigger thing being kind of this own thing. I know we all like maybe like Say It Ain't So or Buddy Holly, but hearing that in the context of the whole Blue album is so different than just listening to the one song. Or even if you guys are fans of Queen and you like Bohemian Rhapsody, I know that's a really big song now, but like listening to A Night at the Opera is just mind blowing. Like it's so different. Speaking of which, I did find some more CDs at the library. I found a couple Queen ones I was interested in. One is Hot Space, and it's mainly just because of Under Pressure. I don't really know the album at all. But then there was Jazz, and I don't know if you guys have heard. Queen's album, Jazz, has some bangers on it. It has like Fat Bottom Girls, Bicycle Race, and Don't Stop Me Now, which is crazy for like an album to have three of those songs and not be a greatest hits album. Like, what? It's wild. Well, to me, it's wild. But those are just kind of some of my thoughts, a bit of like what I've been listening to and thinking about. I'm obviously listening to all kinds of music. CDs I've picked up, albums I've talked about. I still listen to bits like Minutes to Midnight too. I'm thinking a lot about Linkin Park actually after talking about the new singer and stuff. It's very interesting that we're kind of in this predicament now where we have like effectively a second version of the band. I think it's actually pretty exciting because I think for some people they're gonna have like their favorite things probably about both bands, you know, and then you're gonna have people who like Linkin Park right from the beginning, and then there are gonna be people probably younger people who only just know Linkin Park from this new inception point. And I don't know, it's just fascinating to think about listeners. I was talking to some at work and not about Linkin Park specifically, but I was just mentioning music I like, mentioning Weezer and stuff like that. And this person's pretty young, and they'd never heard of Weezer, and they didn't really understand what I was talking about, right? And I was like, kind of what, but I think about it and it makes sense, right? Like, I was young too, right? And then I've only gone back so far with the music I like, even though I know about older music and stuff like that. If it's unless I've really found a reason to connect with it, I likely don't connect with older music that much. And so I can't really like fault her for just not having what I have and not having the same connection I have to the stuff I listen to. And so, it just gave me something to think about, something to chew on. So, anyways, guys, I hope that my little rant here was insightful. I am super tired, but I just kind of wanted to put something out there. I was feeling a little down, a little tired. Not just physically tired, but just a little down. I get a little sad sometimes on certain days. Sometimes you just don't see certain people, or things don't go the way you expect it to, and you're sad. But it's actually a really good week, so it's just a little point in a good week. So I'm all right. I hope you guys are too. Tell me something about what you're listening to this week in the comments below. I'll probably do a new playlist over the weekend for you guys since it's been a while. All right, guys. Have a good one. Deuces.